You're listening to Crystal Clear Lore, a Worm Song production.
This is the tale of the return of the Tailypo.
It was summer break right after Charlie's freshman year of college at Georgia State. He had decided to take the summer and hike the Appalachian Trail, or at least part of it. He had already completed the stretch between Georgia and the edge of Tennessee after high school, and was ready to make the next stretch from Tennessee into Virginia. Carrying his rucksack full of supplies, he had suffered through unforgiving weather and hikers of all kinds before making his way into the southernmost edge of West Virginia. It was like any other day on the trail, breaking camp, eating, and making the most out of the break that he had decided he needed before he returned to school, friends, and family. Although the day had gone smoothly, it was near dusk that everything went wrong. Charlie was working on setting up camp when he heard it. Or more accurately, he heard absolutely nothing. For the first time since he had been on the trail, there were no insects buzzing, birds chirping, or anything of the sort. Instead, it was completely silent. Charlie grabbed his survival knife and waited for the moment to pass. That was when he saw a pair of glowing red eyes peer at him from the trees. Charlie stared at the eyes, and they stared back for a few minutes before blinking out of existence. And just like that, the sounds of the forest came back. It was as if someone had just hit the mute button on the remote for a few minutes. Charlie exhaled, not even realizing that he had been holding his breath the entire time. That was when he remembered what other hikers had said. There are things in Appalachia, things that many folks out here forgot, things that haven't forgotten us. Nah, thought Charlie, shaking his head. That's just old superstitious nonsense. The rest of the evening was quiet, and he crawled into his tent ready for sleep. He had just gotten the sleeping bag rolled out when he heard a whistle. He paused. Was that another hiker? Are they lost? He grabbed his flashlight and knife before poking his head out of the tent. Hello? I heard your whistle, he called out. Are you lost? After a few minutes of no reply, he decided that whoever it was must have moved on. At least that was until he heard the rip of the canvas of his tent. He turned and saw the same red glowing eyes from earlier peek at him through the tears, and the vaguest outline of the creature's head. It almost resembled a fox, but not quite. It cocked its head at Charlie, and he could have sworn the damn thing smiled. As it began to reach a massive claw through the tear, Charlie took off through the open tent flap. He was so panicked that he barely paid attention as he left the trail and dashed into the woods. He ran as far and long as he could, and when he finally stopped, he had no idea where the hell he was. He stood in the forest for a second and cursed himself for being a fool. You never leave the trail when hiking. He knew that, but he had forgotten it when that whatever it was attacked him. Sighing to himself, he started walking in the direction he hoped was his camp. After what felt like hours, and could have been for all he knew, he came across an old abandoned hunting cabin. It had definitely seen better days, but at least could still provide a bit of shelter. Charlie grabbed his flashlight and looked around the outside. The single window was boarded up, but the door was completely gone. There were deep gouge marks around the door, as if something had pulled the door off. Something with massive claws. Charlie swallowed. It's probably gone now. There would be no way that something would just hang around an abandoned building with no food or water or anything. He scanned inside. Other than an old stove, a bed, and 3 dog bowls, there wasn't much else. A quick peek at the ceiling revealed that it was still pretty intact. Charlie walked inside, figuring he may as well wait out the night here. He would have better luck finding camp in the morning. He got settled on the bed and leaned up against the wall, unwilling to sleep right after everything he had seen. Instead, he looked around the cabin with the flashlight. He noticed that whoever had been using this cabin had been gone a long time, as a thick layer of dust was covering everything. Charlie was curious about the state of this place. Something had to have happened since the door was gone. He shined his light over by the door and noticed holes around the doorway. Not bullet holes, per se, but more like the holes left from a shotgun blast. He quickly looked down at the floor, but what he saw didn't make him feel any better. Other than a good-sized hole in the floor, he saw dark stains under the dust. Stains that most definitely was not blood, because holy shit could he not deal with that right now. Charlie kept looking around until his eyes found their way back to the door and he saw the red eyes again. Shit, he whispered. He grabbed his knife and stood up, preparing for a fight. The eyes got closer and closer before blinking back out of existence again. Charlie didn't let his guard down, though. He saw the eyes again, right inside the door, and he swung the knife at it wildly. The eyes turned, and he saw a creature the size of a dog take off into the trees. Breathing hard, Charlie looked around and saw a freakishly long tail on the floor of the cabin. He hadn't felt the knife connect with anything, but then again, he had been pretty panicked. Looking at the tail, he couldn't figure out what creature it had belonged to. It was fluffy and long, much longer than the rest of the creature's body. It was black as night, and the fur was sinfully soft. Charlie picked it up and placed it on the cold stove, not sure what else to do with it. He looked outside once more before trying to go back to bed and saw nothing. Losing its tail must have scared off the creature, so he should be safe the rest of the night. Adrenaline gone, Charlie began to yawn. He walked back to the bed, intending to keep watch for anything else. It wasn't long, though, before he ended up dozing. He wasn't sure how much time had passed when he heard the clicking of claws on the roof of the cabin. His eyes snapped open and he grabbed his knife in one hand and the flashlight in the other. He followed the sound of the claws with his eyes all the way to the door, where he saw the misshapen head that held the red eyes. It was the size of a hunting dog, but its long pointed ears reminded Charlie more of a fox or even a cat. However, the thick brown fur and inch-long claws that he saw as it dropped down from the roof made him realize that this was a creature that he had never seen before. What in the hell was it? It sat at the edge of the doorway and fixed its eyes on Charlie again. It was then that it moved its mouth and spoke.
I want my tailypo.
What? Charlie stuttered out. He didn't expect the fucking thing to be able to talk.
Tailypo. I want my tailypo.
Charlie didn't dare to take his eyes off of the creature. Instead, he stared at it and tried to figure out what it was that it wanted. What did he have that could belong to it? Then it hit him. The tail.
I can smell my tailypo. Give me my tailypo.
I'll give it to you.
You gave me my tailypo.
It's there, on the stove. Charlie gestured with his knife in the direction of the stove. The creature looked over and saw his tail. It grinned widely and walked over before grabbing it with its front paw. It turned its head and cocked it, a wild smile on its face. It walked out, carrying its tail and leaving Charlie wondering what the hell had just happened. He didn't want to think about what would have happened if he hadn't been able to give the tail back. Before he knew it, the sun was rising. As he left the cabin, Charlie looked for any tracks, any proof that the creature was real. He didn't find any. What he did find, just a few hours later, was his campsite. That's when he saw the tears in the tent, and he knew that somehow, everything last night had actually happened. Charlie packed up quickly and swore to give up walking the rest of the trail. He almost ran to the nearest trailhead to leave while the creature's voice kept ringing in his ears.
You gave me my tailypo.
Welcome to Crystal Clear Lore. I'm your host, Crystal Lance, and this week we have a special guest with us, Tim Dillon.
Nah, we didn't have the budget.
Never mind. Apparently, I only have my producer with me today.
I'm Brady.
And this is the first episode of Crystal Clear Lore, which is going to be a cryptid podcast. And with all the mixed information that we see online nowadays, we thought that it was really important to get some quote-unquote accurate information about paranormal and supernatural creatures, especially since we don't know if they exist. And we're going to keep that kind of maybe they do, maybe they don't stance throughout this section of the podcast.
Yes, we're going to keep it a little bit agnostic. And we're not AIs, I promise.
No, we're not. Unfortunately, we are real humans. We cannot afford rent, and life is hard.
Yeah, so just pretend we clicked that little box.
Yep.
I'm not a robot.
Not yet. We're working on that.
So, the tailypo.
The tailypo is today's topic.
Yeah, that was an interesting story that we heard.
Yes. So the tailypo, the original story that I had heard was where it takes place in the cabin that that Charlie,
like from the story.
Yeah, that Charlie ends up finding.
Yeah.
And originally, the old hunter and his 3 dogs are hunting in the middle of winter and they're starving. So when the
What are they
hunter
hunting?
and game, but there's nothing up there, so they're starving to death because
They're
they don't
hunting
have
for
enough.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, you wish.
Fortnite.
No, they're doing like elk, deer,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But there's nothing up there in the middle of winter, so they're starving.
Oh boy,
So
tough times.
they come across the Tailypo, or the Tailypo come across them, depending on the telling, and he shoots off the tail. But because he's so hungry, he cooks it up and eats it.
Oh boy, I don't know if that's a good idea for lunch, but if you're starving.
If you're starving. So the other
Eat
thing
just
is
about anything.
whether or not he feeds the dogs the tail is also something that changes between the tellings that I found.
Oh.
We're going to assume in this retelling it's not that he didn't feed the dogs. It's actually not cruel, as horrible as that sounds. Because when the Tailypo comes back wanting its tail, he's like, I don't have your damn tail. And it's like, yes, you do. And it literally rips open his stomach to get the tail back. That's
my gosh.
why I put all the blood in there. There are tailings where if he doesn't feed the dogs run off, either chasing the Tailypo or just run away from the Tailypo, but survive.
Oh my gosh. This thing's actually a little more terrifying than your story led on.
My story was like, I had wrote the story before I did a lot of research, and I wanted to see like, okay, well, what happens if you don't eat the tail?
Yeah,
Right?
okay.
Does it leave you alone? And
that explains why it's not all gory, because he didn't eat the tail.
he didn't eat the tail.
He didn't want to have none of that. I guess he wasn't hungry enough.
No, well, he'd only been, a few hours. That's nothing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, good on him.
Right.
Even though he didn't really know. So the hunter, though, in the original story, so he ate the tail, right?
Yes, most of the time. Sometimes he doesn't, but most of the time he eats the tail.
Okay.
And
Well, in the stories you read in your research and stuff, what happened to the hunter when he didn't eat the tail?
so the tail isn't eaten, there actually is an Irish version of this called Kevin McCulloch's Supper. And it is a very similar setup and creature. Even the appearance of the creature is supposed to be like long and slender, kind of like the Tailypo.
Oh, okay.
Got a big fluffy tail too. The creature, though, in the Irish version, sings instead of growls. It sings and asks for its tailo.
It's tailo.
Tailo.
There's like a little folk tune to it.
Yeah, I never found the tune to it. So
I mean, I would have
singing.
brought my banjo.
I know. Well, no, it'd have to be it's Irish.
I got an air banjo, but I don't think anybody wants to hear that.
Nobody's gonna listen to your air banjo.
Yeah, let me tune it. Bink-a-dink-a-dink-a-dink-a-dink. I think I just broke a string. I saved you all.
So the creature, the tailo, Kevin McCulloch, he does cook the tail, but he doesn't eat it. The singing makes it too hard for him to eat it.
Okay.
And the creature just sticks the tail back on and leaves Kevin alive.
A barbecued tail.
Yeah, he just sticks it on and walks out the door.
Oh, man.
So that was the only one I think I found where he did not eat the tail. So if you don't eat the tail, apparently you get to live.
Well, right on. Well, our hiker got to live, Charlie.
Charlie did get to live. I wanted to just kind of play with it because if you look up the Tailypo number 1, you're like, this is going to be gory.
Yeah. Do you think anybody on Reddit believed Charlie?
Absolutely not. Well, no, maybe a few folks from Appalachia.
Yeah, they'd probably be like, oh, I seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they've got a lot of cryptids over there, so I'm sure we'll be visiting them again soon.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of cryptids in Appalachia. I mean, the United States is riddled with them.
Well, no, here's the funny thing, though. So I put it kind of more like in between Tennessee, where most stories have it. Some places do have it in West Virginia, and I even found a few stories that it takes place in Texas.
Oh, okay.
So it's just that whole eastern section of the U.S. apparently.
So this story, is it kind of more of like the Krampus kind of thing where you would just parents would tell it at bedtime for a spook? Or was
Appalachia's a little different.
Yeah, okay. So what do you know about that then?
Appalachia's, it's a very big cultural thing over there.
Oh, I can't wait to learn about this.
I had a friend whose mom is from Appalachia, and she straight up believes full-heartedly in the Jersey Devil and Mothman. She's like, you really got to watch out for the Mothman. And I was like, oh, it's like a whole thing to you guys.
Everybody's heard of the Mothman, I think.
Oh, we'll cover the Mothman. Don't worry. He's one of my favorites from over there. But
guys, there's plenty. I can't wait. So the Tailypo, though, I was kind of curious, not looking at a picture of it or anything, like kind of what it looks like. It was slender. It was described a little bit, but Like the face, like an idea, like more like a possum.
Not
or
kind
like a
of
rat.
If you imagine like a dog's face, right? And I would say the dog breed we're gonna have to go with is like a hunting dog, like a hound dog, right?
Yeah.
But then give it like big pointed ears, glowing red eyes, and like the body itself is sleeker like a fox's body.
Okay.
But then it's got the big, long, fluffy tail. And the tail is usually 2 to 3 times the length of the rest of the body. Like, the tail is massive.
I almost cracked the code because I was thinking of a Great Dane.
Oh, yeah. No, too big.
Everything you
were
describing sounded like a Great Dane.
No,
but then,
a little bit smaller.
The tail doesn't match.
Well, so
Dane.
I put hunting dog in the story because that's a very specific size of dog.
Yeah.
Right.
That's why I think, my brain went to Great Dane. But I don't know. I think I would be absolutely terrified to come across a tailypo.
No, it would be terrifying.
Even if it didn't kill me. I mean, like, I don't know. It's just encountering something that you've never seen, you've never heard of, you've probably never seen it in any books or anything. Maybe Charlie has heard of tales, right?
Right. He's probably heard of some things.
Maybe there
right?
was
And
whispers in the woods.
So it's funny you write about a book. So Joanna Galdone wrote a children's book about it in 1977.
Okay.
And I looked it up because I was like, there's no way. This is like one of the ones that, like, he doesn't eat him. No, this is literally one of the ones that he eats the hunter. But instead of the blood and gore, it was just like it's a massive blankets. And I'm like,
like Hansel and Gretel.
Really freaking dark. Like, I don't know if
They're like Hansel and Gretel.
Kind of, yeah. Like, they don't show it. So they're like, we skated through this. But that one has probably some of the best pictures of the tailypo I've seen, too. Okay. And there's a lot online that we can find.
Yeah.
But
right now we don't have a video podcast, so just the whole thing is like we're gonna put pictures on Instagram. So because I think that'll add a little bit of immersion to the story of the tailypo because I mean it's all about the tail, baby.
It's
got that long tail.
Yeah, and I don't know if it I was kind of leaving it up to some interpretation too. I don't know if it leaves its tail on purpose as a trap or not. It says that normally it gets shot off, and it could be just the fact that it gets shot off because it's massive. Yeah. But
that was a good tactic.
I mean, lizards do it, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me see what else I have researched here. So the other thing that I found out is there is the Irish version, right? There's Kevin McCulloch's, but it has been researched quite a bit. So the Coshocton Tribune from Ohio wrote an article in October of 2022, and a local folklorist, Dr. Luke Bauserman, states that the origins go back like 200 years, but was probably around even longer than that. So this is an old story. So it is
okay. I don't know why I was thinking like 1920s.
No, it is old. I
was thinking like them old, them old Disney sing-alongs, and they had that Zippity Doo Dah guy.
Ooh, yeah. So actually,
like that era for some
interesting
reason.
You bring that up because that's from the Big No-No movie, right? Disney's Big No-No movie. The
I
wasn't
going
to
say it. I wasn't going to say it.
The Big No-No movie.
Yeah.
So that ties into Brer Rabbit, and Brer Rabbit is actually tied to African folklore.
Oh.
And the Uncle Remus is I don't know if I've never watched Song of the South because it was just big bad no, right? They don't even show it. You can't find it to buy.
I've just seen little clips or whatever on YouTube.
Right. It's really hard to find it for a reason. But so Uncle Remus is the storyteller, and Brer Rabbit is the tricksy rabbit who, tricks like Brer Bear and I don't remember Brer Fox and
I can
like that.
I barely remember, but it's coming back
something
to me
like
a little
that.
bit.
So they also have a story about the tailypo.
Oh.
And Brer Rabbit actually gets chased by a farmer, and he enlists the help of a witch who makes the tailypo.
You don't say.
So which
a little
when
bit
it's
of an
African,
story.
it gets a little bit confusing by what they mean by witch because we have a very Western view of that.
Yeah.
But if it's African, it's going to have a completely different connotation. It could be witch, it could be shaman, it could be village healer, it could be a lot of things.
Yeah, that's true. But considering the time,
but it
probably meant like witchy witch.
Probably. The earliest one I could find was 1918 for that one.
Yeah, so they're likely meant like witchy witch, right?
Probably.
Colloquially. God dang, that word is hard.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
But yeah, I don't know though. I mean, you never know. But I mean, does it? Did those witch? I mean, did they intend the stigma that we place on witch?
Well, that's its own podcast. That's what that is.
That's where that comes from. Yeah, we won't go too deep down that rabbit hole. But I don't know, man. The Tailypo is pretty dark.
No, it is. It's a dark one. I think
the nighttime, particularly setting, the nighttime setting particularly makes it dark. But also just no, I'm just stuck on the trap thing now.
Yeah, because now I'm thinking about it, and I was like, oh, what if it's like a trap? Because then it's
even darker that way.
It's like a test, if you're greedy and you're foolish, that it eats you and kills you.
And then that's kind of why I asked. It was similar to the Krampus thing, where it's almost like you're trying to incite better behavior or whatever through an allegory.
Perhaps don't be greedy, don't be selfish.
Yeah.
The Irish version definitely has that kind of moral to it.
Irish folklore kind of always has that, right?
Right, it does.
It's never for no reason. I think, and there's a lot of maybe not all American. Maybe there's more than just American folklore, so just Western folklore. But I'm not super educated on this at all.
There's a ton of other countries we're gonna visit.
It's like a different feel to it,
right?
So
the moral of the story that I was able to find, we're gonna put quote unquote moral of the story. Oh. Because it's a folklore, so...
Oh, sorry. What I meant by different feel to it is like we do it for the intention of getting a spook or a scare.
Right.
Sorry.
And they sometimes did that too. I know like Victorian England, they would tell ghost stories at Christmas instead of Halloween.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just want to have a good scare,
Exactly. But that seems to be like the crux of most of the Western folklore.
Right.
It's a lot more kind of spooky. In my opinion. Maybe not, I don't know, because Krampus isn't even American.
But let's see. Moral of the story that we could find, to bring us back, moral of the story that we could find, it would be, let's see, like, don't take things that don't belong to you, like the tail. Respect nature. Be prepared for trips in the woods. Or even like, so with the original telling where the hunter goes out, he was warned. He was like, don't go out there. There's like no game. And he was like, no, I go out there every year. I'm fine. And he just trucks into the woods because he's just an old stubborn man.
Yeah.
It's a case of that old honorary man syndrome that a lot of people get. And one of the things we're like, well, it could also just be like, don't be stubborn and adapt to situations. But I'm like, it's not really, none of those feel right. Those feel kind of forced. I feel like it's just a scary story they told because it was a fun, scary story.
Yeah.
So...
And maybe the lack of TV and smartphones and stuff like that.
Right, that used to be our main way.
A lot of people would sit around telling stories.
It was our entertainment, and even if so I'm just going that section. It's like Tailypo straight up doesn't exist, right?
Yeah,
Appalachia is still heavily forested.
Oh, for sure.
So it very well could exist.
Who knows what's out there?
But if it's 200 years old, it makes me wonder if there's like. How does it breed?
Yeah. Well, I mean, all those like tales of missing people going missing in Appalachia. It's late, guys.
It's late. We're doing this real late.
We're in a closet at 10:25 p.m., but that's okay. In Appalachia. But I'm just thinking of like, I get spooked out about just even going hiking in the woods just because a lot of people go missing. And there's a lot of ones that just don't get solved. And it's probably normal circumstances where they just get lost. But in your head, you're always like, what took them? What took them? And now I'm just picturing like it could be any hiker out there. And there's tons of miles of forest land that you can just go walk in and you could come across any sorts of cabins.
Well, that's the thing, right? So as long as you are being, I would say, smart, right? You don't leave the trail like Charlie did.
Yeah.
Stay on that trail. You will probably be fine.
Exactly.
But the whistling at night is also a really big Appalachia thing. You do not whistle at night in Appalachia. You just don't, because you invite things to come find you.
Yeah. That slightly reminds me of and this is actually a reel going around, but I heard it originally in like a YouTube video where it's like, go to sleep to scary stories from the forest, which is a bit of the inspiration for some of the short story stuff that we're going to do.
I'm going to be real, I've never heard that.
Oh, but some of them, there were like stories of like, this one's about like stuff your grandma would tell you, the grandma that lives in the forest would tell you, right? The reel was saying this, was like, grandma who lived in the forest tell me like, if you hear the whistling, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember them. That's my problem right now.
The other thing I know that I'm thinking about incorporating too is like, if you hear music in the woods,
Yeah, that's
you just ignore it because that's not for you.
That's one of the ones. Yeah,
that's not for you, sir. You walk away.
Exactly. And
that's for other things.
I'm excited because I think through looking into those stories and the lore of all these things, we're going to actually kind of run into some more of those, I think.
I think so too. Even
I think
like
this is kind of one of those, maybe.
Because we're going to dance around the U.S. for a while, but I do want to start kind of dancing. Especially since like the tailypo, I had only found out about a few months ago, and I fell in love with the creature.
Yeah.
Because I think it's just a really unique creature, and you don't see a lot of creatures that drop its tail and then come back for it.
Yeah. And I'd never even heard of the tailypo until you started researching it, so it's it was surprising to actually discover a cryptid I'd never heard of.
Yeah,
does that count as a cryptid? Or?
He is technically a cryptid. He does technically fall under that umbrella. So,
well, just for the sake of making things crystal clear, what is the parameters to classify a cryptid?
So I kind of put cryptid as kind of my miscellaneous, right? So you have, I would say you have like your werewolves is one, your vampires is another, your Seath or your Fae or your fairy, whatever you want to call them, is another category of paranormal creatures.
Okay.
And then you kind of have your cryptids are kind of a catch-all because like Bigfoot is a cryptid, the Yeti's a cryptid, Mothman, Jersey Devil, Tailypo's a cryptid. They kind of are these, some are humanish, some are not humanish, but they're always like creatures that have their own rules.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But they're not easily classified into another category. So they're kind of a miscellaneous. Because like the Thunderbird from the desert area of like Arizona, that also would count as a cryptid.
Yeah. It's kind of a feel thing, right?
Yeah.
Because
it's not exactly...
I can see ghosts kind of being... It's definitely part of the
Ghosts are their own thing.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely part of that whole paranormal creature kind of thing.
Right. I would put...
But it's like I think the cryptid's almost like... It's almost like they're stepping... one foot into paranormal and one foot into hard reality.
Yeah, cryptids kind of ride the line pretty well.
We were talking about physical creatures that you see that could touch you and kill you and whatever.
Yeah.
And ghosts are a little bit more ethereal.
That's
in
true.
a sense where there's a lot more mystery, a lot more misunderstanding. And they're spooky in that sense. There's different triggers for fear. Yeah. So what I think is it's just more of a feel thing. Honestly, but I think that to be a cryptid, I think there has to be a bit more of hard reality grounded into it in a way. And it's even hard to even articulate what I mean by that, but yeah.
Well, because when you say hard reality, it's not like anyone's catching a tailypo and gathering its DNA and comparing it to Sasquatches.
Yeah, but
right?
I'm not even talking about like scientific evidence or proof. Okay. I just mean like in the just the very story of the creature or whatever.
Right.
Tale.
It's got to be cryptic.
It's
right?
always
That's the whole thing.
It's always about an encounter.
Yeah. Usually.
Right. Obviously, ghost stories are too, but they're a lot more mysterious. This is more like I saw a thing and it happened.
Ghost stories
undoubtedly happened.
Ghost stories are a little bit more verifiable too, because we have the tech to catch like EVPs.
Yeah, they got these tools
stuff.
Yeah,
and then you can go and research and be like, oh, this person did die here, and like this is probably who this is, right? But it's harder with
there's almost like stories attached to ghosts.
Yeah, because they're humans, right? They're just people.
So it's an inhuman aspect.
Right.
Definitely.
But it's harder to catch something like the tailypo as being scientifically true or not, because literally there's the only quote unquote evidence of like cryptids is you might catch them on videos or whatever. But even then, it's usually hard because I swear it's like they have something on them that makes them hard to capture on technology. It's ridiculous. That or they're just really fast.
It's a theory.
It's a theory.
I don't remember what comedian this was, but somebody says, "But what if Bigfoot might just be blurry? What if he's just blurry? Was that Mitch Hedberg? I don't know. Credit to whoever it is. I'm sure you guys know. Someone out there knows.
Someone knows our stuff.
But yeah, it's just trippy, that's all, because who knows what's out there.
Well, what really stinks is like there is a video that I found of the tailypo, right?
Oh, yeah.
It is a 20-minute video on VHS. I found it on the...
Holy moly.
I found,
VHS.
Yeah. That's how old we are. I found like the bibliography for it on the Internet Archive.
Oh, okay.
I could not find the video.
Oh,
However,
man.
in the school library journal, right, it recommended it from grades 2 through 6.
Oh. Okay, so yeah, okay, thinking about the children's book,
right?
and
So I'm
thinking about like how most little nursery rhyme things come from really dark folklore like this.
yeah. Well,
I'm starting to teeter on it's kind of more something people would tell their kids for fun.
right,
You know,
just
hey,
a
spooky, scary,
spooky, scary story.
spooky, scary.
But apparently, it's told from a grandmother's perspective as she's telling it to her grandkids, and that's literally the only thing I could find
So
on
it's
it.
almost like a meta that what I
Yeah.
just said. It's like a layer on top of that of the same thing. That's great.
Just a little scary story to tell our grandkids, but I don't know.
I like it. I like the story.
I wouldn't walk into Appalachia at night, and
Well, I mean, if the Tailypo don't get you.
you're right. Then what else will?
One thing I like about the Tailypo is it requires you to do a direct thing for it to like kill you.
Yeah,
As far
you
as some of
have
the
to
tellings,
interact
right?
with it, right?
Is there tellings where they just get killed even though they don't mess with the tail?
No, every single telling of it that I found, and I found several,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Every single one, that tail comes off.
Oh crap.
And you can cook it, but you can't eat it because as soon as you eat it, it's going to want it back, and it will cut you open to get it back.
Yeah. And I'm not saying our hypotheses are the truth or anything, but I mean, considering the evidence,
I mean,
thinking little children's story, get them all spookied up.
but it could
About-
be
and
that.
The tail
It
always,
could.
the tail's a trap. I
What
like
if
the
it's
tail's a
also
trap.
just straight up a warning? Saying,
And yeah,
like,
no,
hey,
I
if
like
you're
that.
out in the woods, like this thing exists. Good luck.
I like a good story with a warning,
That's true.
like the music thing you said in the woods. I like a good little creepy warning, like
Little-
that hits you in your soul. You're like, I didn't know I should be worried about that.
Yeah, don't go in the woods, dude.
I didn't know I should be worried about this tail. You know what I mean? That's
Tailypo.
nobody knew. You didn't know they couldn't eat the tail,
That's true.
so it's a little scary like that. So, well, anything else about the Tailypo we need to discuss? Anything that
I
we?
don't know. I'm kind of looking through my notes here. I did a bunch of research.
Yeah, of course you did. Yeah, it's one of those little obscure ones. I like it.
Yeah, he was a little bit harder to find. There's like a lot of stuff about like, you know, Jersey Devil and stuff, but
Yeah,
Tailypo is just kind of he's his own little guy.
yeah,
He's
and
not like a big name.
we're gonna talk about the famous ones, guys.
Oh yeah, but we
We
wanted to
can't
open
leave
with something.
Bigfoot out.
We really so open with something that's more near and dear to me. 'Cause
Everybody
I fell in love
knows
with him.
Bigfoot,
Everybody knows Bigfoot.
and everybody's uncle saw Bigfoot.
Well, I think Bigfoot might only because we live in the Pacific Northwest. That's where we
It's
record from.
very,
It is
very
a-
close to home.
Massive Pacific Northwest creature, like huge. We have a county that's what 4 or 5 counties away from us that made it illegal to kill Sasquatch since 1969. Straight up
Yeah.
illegal. Don't kill him.
But that's just a teaser, folks, because there's so much more to Bigfoot. But
We're not even
there's-
doing Bigfoot next episode, which is going to be really funny because
Yeah.
they're going to be all mad at us now.
We'll get to Bigfoot.
We'll get there eventually.
We're not going to sleep on Bigfoot, but we all been sleeping on the Tailypo. But I don't think there's that much more to know, unfortunately.
No,
that's why I call it an obscure one, or it's kind of tucked away. It's a tiny little pocket cryptid. It's a
He-
little pocket.
he really is.
It's a little pocket lore.
So I
Which is
think
cool.
one of the big things that we're going to try to wrap up with is like at the end, right? We're going to have a little synopsis. So if you're
Okay.
hiking in the woods in Appalachia and you see the Tailypo and that tail comes off, whether or not you force it to come off or if it pops it off like a salamander, don't eat it.
Don't eat it, folks.
Just don't eat it. You know what? If you can, just walk away from it.
Yeah, go to McDonald's.
Just
It's 2025. Anywhere you're hiking, you could be buying McDonald's.
literally just leave it there. Go camp like a mile away. You'll probably be fine. You'll probably
I'm
be in a
just
much
joking.
better spot. Let's be completely honest.
Bring McDonald's, folks. It's the moral of the story. But in that case, I think the Tailypo is crystal clear.
I do too.
Goodbye.
Bye. Follow us on Threads and Insta at Wormsong Media. That's WYRMSONG Media. Want to reach out to us? Email us at wormsongmedia@gmail. Again, that's WYRMSONGMEDIA@gmail.